Hi, today we're going to speak about erectile dysfunction, its causes and therefore the solutions. What is erectile dysfunction? Very simply, we need to understand we have blood vessels moving all through our body, veins, arteries, through our veins and arteries, and even in the male reproductive organ, the penis, there are innumerable number of blood vessels where blood flows. The moment the blood flows there and stays there, a male is able to hold the erection. Inability to hold it leads to erectile dysfunction. It's as simple as that. Why is he not able to hold it for long? At times the fat deposits happen within these blood vessels and therefore inhibits the ability of the blood to freely move and stay there. It's as simple as that. Now, why does these fat deposits happen, which is atherosclerosis? We shall talk about that. The first cause is obesity. Now what happens? Obesity is the gateway to all problems, all health problems. Now what happens when there is excess fat which is deposited within, on the organs, inside the blood vessels? Again, like I said a little earlier, when the fat deposits are in the inner walls of the arteries, it leads to something called atherosclerosis, which is, it restricts the blood flow. There are enough reports to show people who are morbidly obese and have undergone bariatric surgery, their erectile dysfunction status has improved hugely. But do we suggest bariatric surgery? Certainly not. Why? Because there are huge side effects. Your stomach becomes as small as a walnut. You can't eat anything. And there are huge side effects. There is a reason why things are the way they are inside us, not to be surgically played around with. So how do we do it? There are naturally ways in which people can lose anywhere between 2 to 10 kilos a month. And it's easy, depending on who the person is, what they're willing to do, how they are going to do it. So why go for that? Another huge advantage of doing it naturally is the body adjusts to it normally. If I was morbidly obese and I did bariatric surgery, you will invariably see there will be huge folds of skin, fat, which have yet to go away and which with great difficulty go. Why not do it naturally? This is one of the first causes. Number 2, diabetes. Also a gateway to all diseases. What happens in diabetes? Most people, well, in the fraternity that you talk about, everyone will say it is lack of insulin. Lack of insulin production is only about type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes largely is about insulin resistance. We won't go into the details of that, but what happens when I take insulin shots, when I take medicines, it all helps increase the production of insulin from your pancreas. Insulin is also called the fat hormone. The more insulin I have, then the glucose is not used, it gets converted to fat. It also leads to erectile dysfunction. Number 3, blood pressure. Blood pressure also is stemming from the simple fact that there are fat deposits in the arteries. The heart has to pump harder, stronger, and therefore my blood pressure increases. To send the blood rushing through the entire body, which it used to do first, now it is finding it harder to do it. Most of us address it by taking blood thinners, tablets. Does that work? Is the blood thinner addressing the fat which is there in your arteries? No. Then why am I taking that? Because I believe it will help the blood squish through easier. It also has side effects on your brain, on your organs, on your liver, on your kidneys. Is it worth it? Certainly not according to us, if it is not addressing the excess fat in the artery walls. Number 4, junk food or your diet. We all are used to nowadays eating junk food, the pizzas, the burgers, refined oil, The trans fats come with it, our chole bhature, whole host of things. Will they lead to the same problem called atherosclerosis? Fat deposits in the arteries? Yes, it will. And that is one of the prime reasons for early heart attacks. But right now we're talking about erectile dysfunction. Does it lead to it? Most certainly it does. The fifth and important reason is smoking. What does smoking do? The more I smoke, the more my nerves get weakened. It affects my muscle tissues. It affects the elasticity of the blood vessels. Does it affect erectile dysfunction? Most certainly it does. And there are enough studies to show this. Because of lack of time, we're not getting into that. Another reason, which is number 6, is alcohol intake. Invariably in excess. What happens when we have too much alcohol? Invariably, I get rid of most of my inhibitions and I'm able to say and do things that I couldn't otherwise. So most people believe when I drink alcohol, it makes me like a lion. It increases desire. Most certainly it does, because my inhibitions go down. But does it increase performance? Does it increase prowess? It certainly doesn't. Ask people who are good alcoholics. They will feel high and good, but they will again get up at night. It will get you to sleep fast, it will also get you to wake up in the night. The time at night is used to recharge you. It will not work. It will cause problems. So it increases desire, but certainly not performance. So I'm not saying get off alcohol. No, do everything responsibly. All of the things we've spoken about, do it, but do it responsibly. Because there are things which are very dear to us. Number 7 are the drugs and medications that we take. It is amazing. I meet people as young as 30, 35, 40 and they're taking 7, 8 capsules a day. I meet a person who's 50 and says, look, I haven't had BP or diabetes till now. I guess it's about time. Why are we conditioned to believe we should? I haven't taken a pill in, 30, 40 years. We don't need to. There are natural ways to live healthy. Our bodies are not made for chemical ingestions. They're made to eat natural foods. Your fruits, your vegetables, whole host of things which are very good for you. Every chemical ingestion that you make, which is what the drugs and medications are about, it will most definitely affect your organs, your nerves, everything else, and there will be side effects. That also affects ED. Number 8, stress and anxiety. Is stress a good thing? It's actually a wonderful thing. It's a body's defense mechanism to safeguard us. Our problem is actually chronic stress. We are not able to let go. Someone shouted at me, humiliated me. I continue to think about that. Because when I am under stress, suddenly blood rushes, chemicals flow from my head, from the brain. They flow into the rest of the body, telling them what to do. It flows into my hands, into my legs, telling me to run like hell or go fight the dog or the tiger. But in today's day and age, we are perennially in stress. Someone said something to me 5 years back, 2 years back, 10 months back, and I still don't forget. And I'm seething with pain, trouble. It is doing enough damage within us. The chemicals that are being secreted, and that is also leading to ED. Please think of this. Ask yourself this question. If I am in a state of stress, someone has shouted at me, I had a huge financial loss, or there is some trouble in the house. Am I in the mood for it? Certainly not. But let me look at the other position. I got a promotion. I'm standing on the stage. I won a big contract. I'm beaming with strength and full of conviction. Being completely in the mood. Stress, anxiety versus cool calmness or something good. Number 9. People who work the graveyard shift, which is the night shift. They have a tough time. Life is beautiful. Earning a lot of money. Everything is going fine. But you mess around with the circadian rhythm, which tells you when you should be up and when you should be sleeping. And when that happens, it messes around with the entire hormonal system with it. Enough studies to prove people who are working the graveyard shift also are affected largely much more with ED. It is an issue. I have had a case of someone who was 33-year-old, had a wife, had a child, but having ED. He just couldn't get it out. Can you imagine the confidence levels in him? It doesn't matter how much money I earn, what I do. I lack confidence when I am going to be intimate or close with someone. The 10th reason that we're going to look at is exercise. What does exercise do? It actually helps us breathe in more oxygen, which helps the blood flow, carries nutrients to the rest of the body. It helps burn fat. It helps strengthen the nerves, the muscles. All of that leads to a good, healthy life. That means at least, let's say, 20 minutes of good cardiovascular exercise every day. Yes, can everyone do that? Cannot. Can everyone do the above 10 listed things? Maybe not, but we have to figure out what we can and what we can't. Each one is a chapter in itself. These are the 10 causes which lead to erectile dysfunction. If we can reverse them, they are the solutions also to erectile dysfunction. We need to figure out, do we also want to take drugs to fix it, or a beautiful, healthy lifestyle which will get us there? And we've seen it work beautifully for so many people. Look at your habits, your daily habits, and that will change your life. A word of caution for everyone who is experiencing ED. And by the way, 1/3 to 1/4 of the adults are experiencing ED. No one wants to talk about it. It is that invasive a problem. People who are experiencing ED, it is because of atherosclerosis, which is layers of fat in your arteries. It is also going to lead to heart attacks sooner or later in the next few years. It's like that little canary in the mine. So be careful. And I would like to say, while this is ED, erectile dysfunction, largely related to men, but even women need to be careful because the same problems will be associated with them too. Wishing you all the best. Take care.